One of the things John Paul II taught us was that scientific progress, in order to be true scientific progress, must always be at the service of man. If a scientific advancement requires the destruction of human lives, then it isn't advancement at all. In fact, it's a sign of the moral deterioration of society. I think it's important to keep this in mind when we talk about stem cell research. There are two types of stem cells, adult stem cells and embryonic stem cells. Adult stem cells are derived from different types of human tissue, like bone marrow, fat, or even umbilical cord blood. Embryonic stem cells are derived from human embryos that are either created for the sake of the scientific research or are left over from in vitro fertilization procedures. Both types of stem cells have their own scientific benefits and limitations. Adult stem cells are limited in the types of tissues they can become, but they've already been used successfully in the treatment of several diseases, and their potential is still being discovered. Embryonic stem cells, on the other hand, are unlimited in their potential. They're called pluripotent, which means they can become any cell in the human body. However, they have yet to be successfully used in any medical treatment. The most important distinction we can make between adult and embryonic stem cells is the ethical distinction. Adult stem cells really have no ethical problem associated with them because they do not require the destruction of any human lives. Embryonic stem cells, on the other hand, have many ethical problems related to them because in order to retrieve embryonic stem cells, we must destroy human embryos. And as we know, life begins at conception. And embryos, while small, are the very beginning of human life. And that means that they are ordained with a specific dignity, just like the rest of us are. That they are created in the image and likeness of God, that they are loved by God specifically and uniquely. And so for that reason, the Church condemns embryonic stem cell research because we must uphold and protect the sanctity of each and every human life. And it is true that the discovery of embryonic stem cell research could lead to cures for diseases that plague the human race. But no matter the magnitude of the good that can be achieved, we cannot justify any evil means of achieving it. Now, it's important now that we note that there's a new scientific benefit, new scientific advancement on the horizon, and that is called induced pluripotent stem cell research. Induced pluripotent stem cell research is very interesting because it holds all the promise of embryonic stem cell research, but none of the ethical problems. The reason is that induced pluripotent stem cells are actually derived from adult human cells. So what they do is that they take a human cell, it can't be a sperm or an egg, but let's say a skin cell, and they reprogram that cell back to its pluripotent phase. And so at that point, that cell can become any tissue in the human body. So it has all the promise of an embryonic stem cell, but we don't have to destroy human life to get it, so it doesn't have any ethical problem with it. I think it's really important now that we look to the Catholic Church for these questions of ethics, because the Catholic Church is not standing in opposition to scientific progress. The Catholic Church is safeguarding true scientific progress by upholding the dignity and the sanctity of human life.